Question 1 for the R questions, we have a sphere and its dimensions, and the question is asking which measurement is closest to the volume of the sphere in cubic inches. So whenever I am asked to do a volume question, that's going to immediately take me to my formula chart because I know that all of my needed formulas are there. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my formula, substitute, solve over here. So the first thing I'm going to look at is for my formula, which is the formula for the volume of a sphere, which is V equals 4/3 pi radius cubed. So with this formula, we have kind of three-ish components to it, and the only thing really that we need to fill in is going to be our radius, and so we need to determine what our radius is. So over here we have this given value here of 15 inches, and this 15 inches here, that it goes across is the diameter. So we have a diameter of 15 inches, and what we need to do is figure out what the radius is because they are different measurements. So pause point here for reflection number 1, and that is going to be here. How are you going to remember the difference between radius and diameter? So on your paper, what you're going to do is write down how you're going to remember the difference between the two of them. All right, so you should have paused the video, written something down, and now you're pushing play again and continuing with the video. All right, so what I'm going to have you do, what I like to do, is look at the, think about the lengths that we have here. So we have, right here we have this short halfway across is the radius, and the diameter. So if I were even to look at the two words next to each other, I would see that the diameter is the longer length than the longer of a word than the radius. So however you want to remember it, I just remember that the radius is half of the diameter. So that leaves us to 7.5 inches being the radius. And so when we substitute over here in our formula, substitute solve, we have V equals 4/3 times pi times, I'm going to use parentheses, 7.5 to the third power. All right, so from here you should be able to go to your calculator and solve this, but before that we're going to go to pause point for reflection number 2. It says, how do you type a fraction in your calculator, and how do you put an exponent other than 1 in the calculator? So pause. And now you should be pushing play again, and I'm going to go ahead and work through this here. All right, so on your yellow calculators on the TI-84s, what you should do is push alpha y equals. Mine's going to be a little bit different on my calculator here. So I'm going to push alpha, and then I'm going to get this little screen that pops out, but the same n over d, which is numerator over denominator. Then I'm going to type 4, then arrow down so I can do 3, and then I'm going to have to arrow over to the right, times pi, which is second, and then just below the clear button you'll notice this that highlighted up in blue, pi times the radius, which was 7.5, And then this was the part of your reflection question, and so if you didn't know what this was called, underneath the clear button there's this little up arrow looking button, and this is called a caret, and that will give you an exponent that you can fill in with any number. In this case, we're going to want to push a 3, enter, and then we get 1767.1. So we got 1767.1. All right, and that leaves us with answer J, and that is question number 1.